What have you done that your parents punished you for, but it was totally worth the punishment? I was 15 when I discovered my father's other family. Not through snooping or detective work. I literally walked into them at Walmart. There they were, a woman and two kids calling my dad daddy while he pushed their cart, looking happier than I'd ever seen him. My mom worked nights as a nurse, often doing 16-hour shifts to support us. Meanwhile, dad was supposedly working late at his accounting firm. He'd come home at odd hours, miss my school events, and was barely around except to criticize my grades or appearance. That day at Walmart, I froze in the cereal aisle. The woman noticed me first. She smiled warmly until she saw my face, probably recognizing me from the family photos dad kept in his wallet. Her smile dropped as dad turned around and his face went white. "Abigail," he stammered, "what are you doing here?" Before I could answer, his son, who couldn't have been more than 7, tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, can we get Lucky Charms?" I walked out, leaving my shopping cart right there. Dad called that night, begging me not to tell Mom. He said he'd explain everything and that it was complicated. He even offered to buy me a car when I turned 16 if I kept quiet. The next day at school, I did something that would get me grounded for 6 months. I used the computer lab to create a detailed spreadsheet of every bank statement, credit card bill, and receipt I could find in Mom's home office. Dad had been draining our accounts for years, funneling money to support his other family. I made copies of everything. Then I waited until Mom's next day off. I served her favorite breakfast, blueberry pancakes, and handed her the folder. "Mom, I need to show you something, and you need to sit down." Dad came home that evening to find his bags packed. Mom had already called her lawyer brother. The next few weeks were chaos. Dad screamed at me for destroying our family. Mom grounded me for going through her private financial documents without permission. But here's what they didn't know. While going through those papers, I discovered Dad had been stealing from Mom's inheritance fund, money her parents left specifically for my college. He'd taken almost $90,000, claiming the market downturn had caused the losses. I'd made copies of those documents too and mailed them directly to Grandma, Mom's mom. She was a retired judge and still had powerful friends. Within months, Dad was facing charges for fraud and embezzlement. The divorce got ugly. Dad's other family tried claiming he'd promised that money to their kids. Mom struggled with depression, barely able to work. I spent my sophomore year cooking, cleaning, and trying to keep our lives together while she healed. But Grandma made sure justice was served. Dad had to repay every penny, with interest. His accounting license was revoked. His other family fled when the money dried up. He ended up moving to Ohio, working as a grocery store manager. The 6-month grounding was brutal. No phone, no friends over, no weekend activities. Mom was furious I'd gone behind her back. "You should have come to me first," she'd say, but we both knew she wouldn't have believed me without proof. Last month, I graduated from Yale Law School. Mom sat in the front row, beaming. She's remarried now to a kind man who treats her like gold. I used what I learned from those financial documents to specialize in fraud cases, helping other families detect hidden assets during divorces. Dad sent a congratulations card. Inside was a $50 gift card to Walmart. I donated it to a domestic violence shelter and sent him a receipt.